Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've traveled into 114 countries. And I've done this for 25 plus years. And I speak Spanish and French. And, pupasa Thai, nitnoi, and fala Portuguesa. And I can ask how to go to the bathroom in a lot of languages. Okay. First thing you need to know in another country is where's the bathroom? Donde está el baño? Or you got to do it with body language. It's like, oh, I got to shit. Okay, but I'm going to talk today about how to find 1 to 5 to 10 to 30 a family of language teachers. And I keep pointing out the word family because it's like a family. Okay, the natural way we learn, this is my quote at the top of this. The natural way we learn, there's a link in the description that will say have notes, and you could watch this video and follow along or refer to it as a reference, right? The natural way we learn language is by hearing repetitive words during early experiences. Unfortunately, many educators neglect its importance. Andy Lee Graham. It's amazing. How did we learn as a baby to say mama? Mama. Mama. The mother, father repeating it until the baby's probably going, are they ever going to stop? But the only way to get them to stop is to repeat the word, okay? And I talked about it yesterday, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you can hear that one time and repeat it, you might be a natural at learning a language. But if I hear 4 words in German, I cannot repeat them, okay? But you got to be, there are people that are annoyingly good at languages and do not learn from them. They have no empathy at all for understanding that you can't learn a word by hearing it once. Okay, I have traveled to 100 plus countries and lived abroad for 25 plus years. What I have learned about languages is that everyone I meet wants to teach me their language. Everybody wants to teach me a language. People want you to talk their language. Everyone near me in any country is my teacher. All of them. Some of them, against their will. Everyone near me is some people want me to learn the language better than others. There's people that really are really happy that you would learn the language. Most, if nothing else, want us to speak clearly so we can communicate effectively in the 5C way. Okay. It's amazing that people don't get it, that communication is the number one skill set of a highly paid executive, okay? You got to be able to communicate to your workers. You got to communicate to the other things. You got to communicate to the board. And how many people will use an anonymous name and block all this, right? It's just amazing to me. It's like the whole world's gone the wrong way. All the geese are flying the wrong direction, okay? That's kind of a philosophical thing. But 5C, and I will talk about this, is caring. 5 C's. Caring, conscientious, contiguous, continuous communication. That's what you need with a person. Caring, they care about you. Conscientious, they actually care to return a message. I block a lot of people that refuse to return messages. If they don't reply to back, I got all my nieces and nephews blocked, except the boyfriend of one of my nieces, okay, because he replies back. Okay, contiguous, meaning they remember the conversation from the time before. We have enough communication that is connected. Continuous, and that's a friend. But the continuous can be like 2 months apart, right? But it's kind of interesting. Most people, the hard part about getting older is people forget their conversations. They start repeating yourself. So you hold up 5 times, 6 times. You told me that 8 times, right? Kind of hilarious in a way. And, okay, how to find 10 free Spanish teachers. I don't care how many. It could be just 2, but you need at least 5, whether you're learning French or German or whatever. I mean, and who are these people? Who are they? Who are they? I want you to live as if everyone is your family, because they are. And we have a social responsibility. I consider it a requirement, a social responsibility to smile, say hello, and be helpful. I consider that the absolute minimum of a human being. Okay, if they don't want to say hello, they don't want to smile, and they don't want to be helpful, they're just a piece of trailer trash. Okay, okay, they're some sort of anarchist. They basically they have personal problems. Okay, but I do understand there are times when you don't give people the eye contact and you don't do certain things. I mean, women, beautiful women, have a problem. I have the art of ignoring beautiful women until they pay attention. Okay, but I want you, the student, to learn to recognize when a person you meet in normal conversations can be your teacher. I'll repeat that. I want you, the student, or anybody learning any kind of subject, to learn to recognize when a person you meet in normal conversation can be your teacher. In Spanish or any language. There are people that are happy to volunteer. They just love to teach a language. Some of them are just annoying. Okay, they will make me say that word 10 times until I say it correctly. Okay, and that's kind of hilarious. But I suspect these people that are good teachers are good mothers and fathers. What's a good mother and father? It's a person that talks to you and helps guide the child into learning, right? And after you do this for 5, 10, 20 years, 18 years, it's kind of a habit, okay? You talk in a way that is kind and beneficial to your child, and that child learns. My mother and father would talk to us in a dignified way and treat us as little baby adults, right? And, you know, I often have to go really, really slow with some of my friends I meet because to treat them with respect, I got to go at their speed, right? I can't talk at my speed. I got to talk at their speed. And that's the art of, how to win friends and influence people. You got to listen more than you talk. Okay. But a good family, a good parent, a good mother, a good brother, a good sister, a good wife, a good husband, they communicate with you in a helpful way. And they compliment. When you enter the room, they actually acknowledge your presence, okay? I'm going to say here, calling a person a maestro or maestra. Maestro in Spanish means male, like teacher, or master. Maestra in Spanish means female, because the A on the end is female. It's always good to call somebody a maestro or maestro. They just it endears them. Sometimes I just say, hey, yo necesito un madre. I need a mother, okay? Okay, when I'm talking to girls, sometimes they have a big desire to be my mother. We are the family. The person acts as if. Every person you meet will act as if something. The person acts as if they're my brother, my sister. The person acts as if they are my husband, my wife. Not my husband, but you understand the point. I'm trying to be androgynous here, both sexes, right? You're reading this, really. The person is as if they are my mother or my father. Okay, this person as if my grandmother, So I got one of these relationships with everybody I ever meet. There's a thing called a book called I'm Okay, You're Okay. I read it when I must have been 20 or something. It was one of the best books I've ever read for personal relationships. Why? Because when you talk to somebody, I'm okay, you're okay. When you talk to somebody, when they're being snarky, they're saying you're not okay, okay? And then people go to great lengths to try to prove they're okay, which they should just go, get out of here. But the conversation should be, I'm okay, you're okay. I'm okay, you're okay. But you're going to have these different types of matrix of relationships. You're going to have a parent-to-parent relationship. You see that in schools or something. Parent to adult, the parent talking to a grandparent talking to an adult child. A parent to child, real common relationship. I have a lot of people that want to be my parent and treat me like a child. I'm always amazed at that. But I listen because they're trying to be helpful. Adult to parent. And sometimes that would be like an adult talking to their grandparent or something. Adult to child. Very common thing that people that you're talking to, I have trouble not doing that with people. Why? Because they're doing all these irrational things. And I have to be patient and I got to say, okay, you got all these mental configurations, and I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm trying to understand. But these are all different combinations of relationships. Child to parent. I'm a little kid to parent. I did this with my mother, right? Mom, grandma. Child to adult. Sometimes I forced my mother to be an adult. Okay. But the number one, what is the number one relationship? Child to child. I don't know who said it, but it's everybody needs a playpen and somebody to play with. And I think that's the intimacy of a relationship. When you have a girlfriend or when a girl has a boyfriend, we should be two children playing. And then there's times when they got to go up to be an adult, right? And then, okay, we can go back. And then sometimes they got to be a parent because they get there talking to their children. So we alternate between all these different relationships. And, but understanding these combinations can help you find a Spanish teacher. Okay? Why? Because when you get the parent, I'm a child relationship with your teacher, you got a home run. When one understands these patterns, that AI thing doesn't really fix everything. How to find your Spanish teacher, people who want to join your family. Now, some of you are just irritated that I even bring that up, and I feel sorry for you. I feel pity that you do not want to be part of a family, or you hate women so much, or women hate men so much. They're so traumatized that they've zapped the whole gender, right? Don't get me wrong, I've zapped some genders too. I don't really try to become best friends with the alternate genders. Why? Because they're confused and they only just lead me into confusion. I want somebody that's very clear on who they are, okay? Have no anger buttons. Okay, when I hit their anger button by accident, I know that's a red flag. Okay, but how to find your Spanish teacher. So now this is the most important lesson you can ever learn in Spanish. Why? Everybody can be your Spanish teacher. It doesn't matter whether it's your bus driver, it can be anybody that you, in a sense, meet on a regular basis, right? Anybody that you see almost daily, okay? So I'm going to go up to the market probably and buy some broccoli, and I'm going to go kill that dog over there. Can you hear that dog? Oh, man, these dogs. Wonder if I can tell you how to kill dogs, but I'm not going to tell you. There's a way that you can do it where you'll never get caught. But I have never done it, but I was taught by this guy from the Philippines, an American, lived in Oregon. I want you to pretend you're a baby when you're talking to people. You're a baby and you're learning Spanish and you know 18 words, right? You can only deal with those 18 words. And then if you're meeting people and they instantly see that you're confused, you give them I don't know, you got to give them some facial things like, I don't know, or please, or s'il vous plaît. You got to somehow be their son. I have to be their son. The women have to be their daughter. And you say, ¿Cómo se llama este en español? And you point at it. And then you start a conversation. But one word at a time. That's how a baby learns, right? Nobody learns a whole sentence in one thing. And that's how teachers and videos on YouTube want to teach you. They want to teach you a whole sentence. Like you're going to understand every single word in that sentence by context. Don't work that way, okay? It works one word at a time, and then you can construct the sentence. So when you break it down a sentence, you break it down into words, you learn all those words, and then you can combine them. But until you have about 200, 300 words, it's just kind of a waste of time. You got to get a pack of vocabulary. Okay, so what I want to do is you can bait your teacher, okay? How am I baiting my teacher? I walk up to my teacher. No, I walk up to a person. Every possible person I'm meeting here is a potential teacher. So when I see a smile on their face, a greeting, hello, ¿cómo estás? Hola, whatever, they can say, sometimes they say hello, and that's not a very good teacher, okay? Why? Because they want to speak, they want to learn English. They want me to be their teacher for English. So they can reverse this, right? And if they start talking to you in English, you know you got somebody that isn't really a good teacher, right? right? They are wanting to practice English with you. Okay, but you can say you're going to go into a mother-father relationship. Usually, when I'm learning, I'm going to have a mother or father, and that mother smiles and laughs. A lot of these older women here in Lake Atalan, they're very, very kind and happy. I got a lecture the other day on not overpaying the tuk-tuks. This lady came up with all her laundry, and she says, "Por favor, no paga más para el tuk-tuk, paga cinco," because the foreigners are inflating the prices and they can't afford the tuk-tuks anymore. There's places in Krabi, Thailand, where none of the locals can afford a tuk-tuk. Okay, but to bait a potential teacher, it sounds funny, but you're going to have to ask certain words to try to get them into a conversation. You say, "Please talk slowly." Okay, you can say it in English. You can say it, "Por favor, habla despacio." And if the person goes slower, you got potential, right? Some people have no moderation. They just continually ramble away at the speed of light, right? No empathy at all. But you can say, "Please repeat the word. Por favor, repetición de palabra, por favor." Whatever. ¿Cómo se llaman? Es que esta. Can you write it down? Escriba, por favor. Can you spell it? Deletrea la palabra. You can have these interrogative words. And the biggest one that tells you when you have a teacher is when you take out a piece of paper and they'll write it down. Okay, but it's interesting because you got to be wary of the ones that want to learn English, right? Because they're trying to turn you into a teacher. I did an exchange in Colombia with this beautiful girl that my friend Herman Escobar hooked me up to, the Platypus Bogota, in the Candelaria of Bogota. And we'd walk around for about an hour, and we'd talk about 30 minutes in Spanish, then we'd talk 30 minutes in English. It's a good trade. And it's very hard, right now, it's very, very hard for me to do that anymore because the minute I see a Latino, my brain thinks in Spanish. But at that juncture, I was translating everything in my head, right? So pretty easy to do. Buenos dias. Okay, but so these are the ways to bait them. You just ask them questions. Okay, but the teacher arrives. When the teacher arrives, you're part of their family. Everybody wants to make everybody part of their family. I don't care. It's only the United States and these overdeveloped countries that are actually snoobs. I don't know how you do that. Snub. They're snobs, right? They think it's good to be evil. And I go, how can you win friends and influence people when you won't even say hello and smile, right? This is amazing to me. What a dysfunctional world we become in the overdeveloped countries. Okay, but you want to know the correct pronunciation. So some people will sit there and go, they will repeat the word until they get you to say it right. Now I have to get them to write it down because I cannot pronounce a word in Spanish until they write it down. Then I can sound it out. But if they look with you with a smile and love and patience, that could be a very good teacher. Some teachers are very rough. Some people, they're just like your mother. Some mothers are really rude. Some mothers are nice. But some of you that had really bad mothers are only going to be attracted to the really rough, bad mothers. That's one part of people don't understand it. Dysfunctional people like dysfunctional families. So if love is your father walking in and screaming at you, you need somebody to walk in your room and scream at you. Okay, that's love to you. But you can overcome this by understanding what you do. Okay, but a really good teacher will stop and sit with you. They'll write things down. They'll help you. But I often say, "Tú eres mi nuevo maestra." You're my new, or is it nueva maestra? Okay, you got to make these things, but they understand. And when they suddenly get told that they're the teacher, they take on that position and they like it. Don't get me wrong. You are not you're not putting a burden on anybody. They like to be the teacher. Most people would like to be considered an expert, but you see empathy on their face. But you got to do an interview. It's kind of funny because there's a lot of people that want to be your teacher that cannot even spell or write Spanish, right? When two people meet, there is roughly an 8-step process. Hello, how are you? Fine. You? What are you doing today? Nothing. Bye. Okay, see you later. It's like 8 steps. It's an 8-step conversation. That's how interactions happen. When a person goes on further, like for men, if the girl starts going on further, that's the high sign, we call it. That's the signal that says, she kind of likes me. Okay, but you got to figure out these things. But an 8-step conversation interview, what I call is hello, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from? Where do you work? What do you do? And then when it gets into the best level, I just hand them my smartphone. I just hand them the phone, key it in on contacts, and say, please enter your phone. I hand it to them. And they put their phone. Some people will fill it in correctly. And this is an interview question. If they can sit there and fill out the thing correctly, and they feel an obligation to put more than just their phone number. I don't know how many people put the phone number in the place where the name goes, right? And I have to move it around. Then I have to add 502 and all sorts of stuff. But then I got an ability to contact them on WhatsApp, and I instantly message them on WhatsApp, or I would call them. In the past, I used to call them. And I want to see if they're conscientious. Do you remember the 5 C's? Conscientious people reply to text messages. They they try to return calls. Okay, but we learn words in clusters. So you can choose what is your favorite thing to learn about? I mean, they're going to teach me about food, and I really don't want to get fatter, so I don't want to learn anything more about food. I want to learn about wood. Can I get the teacher to go into the workshop of a wood place or a steel place and go over all the parts? Can I get them to go into a hardware? Most of these teachers will not do that, right? And that's where I'm always concerned. I really like hardwares, office supply places, wood shops, metal shops. I really don't want to look at women's clothing, okay? Okay, but everybody's got their thing. So try always to get a teacher. You can get your teacher in your own subject. You may have to, but everybody is a potential teacher. If they can treat you like a mother or father, make you part of the family. Everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody wants to be your language teacher because it's normal. They teach their children this, right? They teach their children how to read. Anybody that says they cannot learn a language doesn't understand the simple thing that you learned English or you learned French or whatever language your mother and father taught, you learned it. So if you want to tell me you can't learn languages, I can say, man, you're really dumb, okay? Because it's quite obvious you speak one language and you think that it's some magical thing, but the way you learn language is one word at a time. You can't learn a language just by walking up to somebody, only the naturals, but you have different things like food, transport, wood, hardware, drugs, girls. You can talk about anything that the teacher wants to teach you. And you, men or women, like to have conversations on certain subjects. It's just normal. But the teacher should rock and roll with you. He should adapt. Okay. Where to find a teacher? Anywhere you run into a person almost daily. The signals a person is better at being a teacher. That's the hard part here. They have some books around. If you happen to get in their house, they're reading books. They will text message you back and forth. Some people cannot text message, and text message has been one of the greatest things for reading on the planet because now people have to write things down. So some of these social networks are teaching people literacy. And you got to read their text messages, and then you got to see if they spelled it correctly. Sometimes I copy and paste it over there into Google to translate, and it has no clue what they're saying, right? Or they're using the really poor communicators in a lot of ways use abbreviations or acronyms on everything, right? Like LOL, laugh out loud. And they kind of do this as a power play to make you feel stupid. It's not. It's okay with a friend that you've done for years, but don't use abbreviations with the person you just met. They speak in sentences, not just yes or no. I don't know how many people go, sí, no, depende. And I go, ay, nothing's going on upstairs, right? Okay, smiles and hellos, manners. When you hear manners from anybody, take a pause. If they say perdóname, désolé, compromiso, different words of manners, right? But if somebody says excuse me in English, I stop them and ask her what, because 90% it's Americans. If a European says something, they don't say excuse me, they say sorry. Okay, please excuse me. Thank you for you. Welcome. Manners is a good teacher because that's what a good parent is, right? Conclusion. There's nothing sadder than when a person refuses to smile and say hello. We want the world to be a better place, and it would start with a smile, a hello, and a shaking hand in whatever way we shake hands, whether in Thailand it's a Y, whether it's shalom in Arabic countries. If a person will not say their name, look you in the eye and smile and be happy, it's a dysfunctional world, guys. That's the problem with the world right now, is this kind of mentality. I don't owe you anything. We owe each other this. That's the minimum to make the world a better place. That's the minimum requirement to make the world better. But if I say hello to them and they ignore me, I go a mental picture. You know, this person is on the level of evil. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, like women, can be very afraid of me. They can be shy. They can do all sorts of reasons why. So don't just pass total judgment on them. But if you listen to them and you're actually start talking to them, and they have a tone of voice like contempt, disgust. What do you want? What do you want? Or there's no smile on their face. So one thing great about language is if you close your eyes and you listen to language, you can tell by the tone of the voice whether they're happy or not happy. And don't start and continue conversations with snarky people. I don't know how many people I get to block here on going live because they say really crude things like, dude, you need to do this. And I just block them because I don't give a crap. I am not here to give my life to a jerk, okay? And anybody that's willing to take insults is just a prostitute. That's what a prostitute does, right? They basically adapt and service somebody that's what prostitutes do for money, okay? And I had a guy, his name was Phil, and he said he had to make so many compromises when he was in business. And I sit there and go, have I ever made any compromises in business? I don't remember ever making many compromises. I always chose the people I worked with, right? Because the first things first, I wanted to work with somebody I liked. And if they weren't somebody I liked, I sort of got rid of them. Not that easy. They basically fired us up. Okay, if you hear a snarky voice, go do something else. If you don't see a smile radiating from their face, there are people that were taught by their family, their teacher, whatever, they're supposed to be serious all the time. Try to break their face into a smile. Break their face. That's what I call it. Breaking their face. They have no idea how to be part of a family. Be friendly and walk down the road. We can change our pants. We can change our shoes. We cannot change people. Don't try to change people. That's macho. It's a macho behavior. We can change our pants, our shoes. We cannot change people. People that are saying, you got to change, you got to do that. That's like a macho behavior. I'm going to force you with words to change. Our only responsibility in life is to be a good example. That's it. Okay. If you're a good example, people will follow along and they'll be your friend. If you listen more than you talk. If you listen more than you talk. But reciprocity, I'm often amazed at how few people have any gauge on how much they're talking. Like yesterday, I had verbal diarrhea and I was apologizing really. I was like, I'm talking way more than I'm listening. Right? It was kind of bad. Your friend, Andy Lee Graham. Thank you. Remember how remember how a person is treating you. Are they treating you like a father, a mother, brother, sister, husband, You want to know what family relationship every person's having with you. And you can have brother, which is like equality, right? Okay. After living a normal life, I have people that teach me about woodworking, transportation, hotel. How many family members, aka teachers of life, do you have? How many family members, teachers of your life do you have? How many brothers, sisters, families, brothers, husband, kids, whatever relationship? But I really want the child to child relationship. And then when I need to be, I'll go to adult or parent adult, whatever. But everybody needs a playpen and somebody to play with. And that's intimacy. When you basically just sort of play with each other, eating popcorn, watching a movie, right? Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. Hit that subscribe button, and life is good. I'll now go on a live thing on my channel, which is, this is not synchronized with that, but I'm on live in San Pedro, La Laguna, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm here and I'm not all there. Subscribe.